Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Show with SmartRobie. And it is 16th of January. Just a very, perhaps a week to the Chinese New Year. And finally, with the economy opening and people able to travel, you might see the kind of rally that we're seeing. Not the old rally that you see where the market just keep going up. But I suppose it is a mild rally that we've seen. And also, this is also due to the US last Friday closing on the better CPI figures that we get so far in here. So that's what we are seeing in this morning, and let's take a look at where we have for you in our breakfast show with SmartRobie. And definitely let's zoom into a wider scope here, go in and see the KLCI this morning and what we have for us this morning in here. The KLCI is down 3 points, 1492, and I think suppose the biggest resistance is the 1500 resistance that we see. So let me just pinch it up here that you can see we do have a triple top, but the uptake, the overtake of the UT that you see, the upthrust on the last 3 bar, that is a significant move. That means the market may able to, but let's see how much will the market able to hold on for this morning in here. But we'll talk more as we are looking some of the big gainer and big loser in here. And of course, some of the big gainer you have seen, revenue has come back to 6% in here. Velesto is up, EduSpec. These are the so-called top volume that you're seeing, 147 million here. So it's interesting to see even Ajinomoto is up 2%. All the food are going up, the consumer against the consumer and plantation, and then the decliner are technology, and some of them are also plantation in here. But let's see what we have for you this morning in our breakfast show here. All right, the agenda for this morning is pretty much focused on the pre-Chinese New Year rally that we are seeing. And if you look back to the chart on top me here, that is what we call the mild one. Of course, breaking 1500, I do think that if it does break, the market likely to make a U-turn again. One big move and then sort of move sideways or likely to turn in. But as you're seeing, the overall US market is rallying, and then Asia, right, pretty much by the analyst is saying that we are in a bullish mode in here. So with a bullish mode turning into bullish, and perhaps some people may want to feel it's time to get into the market, or some may feel that it may be a bit late or whatever the case is. But I think it's always important to look from the judgment of it. But on the back of it, much of the so-called bad news, like we talk about the recession, it's already pretty much been priced in. They're just waiting for new catalysts coming in and the market will rally. But do take note, a lot of the time the market will just rally first, then only the news will come out. All right, keep this in mind. And as you can see, we also have the railway track moving up in here, the green pentagon with the KLCI, but we're going to check out some of the hot sectors in here using FA list, the fundamental list in here, to provide the kind of dividend coverage that we are seeing in here. All right, so the SmartRobie is utilizing the Pentagon Guider as a guide in here, and that's how we've been doing for a lot of our stocks. Now let's take a look on the January 13, some of the big stocks that we have picked up by the Robie. Of course, you can also use the VSA 360 in here, and the big ones were Kenhin 70%, Tax Cycle 69, AirAsia 58, and one of the big loser was minus 6%. Let's take a look at some of them. Definitely the first one is Kenhin. You can see this one moved from 120 almost to 240 in the span of, I think there's probably some news. You can check it out using SmartRobie. You can see from here almost where, but right now it's red pentagon. And if you have right through this one in here, I think it's time to take some profit, because this morning on last Friday it actually hits a red pentagon. And usually when you see this kind of upthrust, do take note the market, once it breaks down, that's a time to go, all right? Because the market is likely to move sideways. Another stock did pretty well, is also picked up by here, is AirAsia X, and we all know this is also due to the reopening as early as beginning of December. You can see where the green pentagon is here, and then the market start to move up. And some of you who have capitalized on this so-called reopening of economy and probably do pretty well on this kind of stocks here, right? And that's how you want to be able to benefit from in here. Do appreciate if those of you listening can also share this in your timeline and give us a thumbs up, right? And if you want us to look at any shares pencil those in. We are happy to look at it. And last but not least, some of the shares. And one of the reasons why we share with you, not all Pentagon works. This is definitely one of them that didn't work. You could see the market break down as soon as on the third day. You can see green Pentagon try to break up 1, 2, and then you have 3 bars consecutively. That's where the red Pentagon hub, you would be out at least, some of these stocks. But pharma is one of those stocks that tend to be very volatile in the midst of what we're seeing in this market with the high cases that we see in the COVID and the reopening of the Chinese tourists coming in here, and that's what we're coming on. But there may be some tourists coming to Malaysia and getting a lot of the vaccine that they needed in here. All right, let's take a look at the KLCI market. This morning in here, you could see early on we were slightly up, and then right now we are down 3 points. In here, you can see this is the chart that we have, and we are in the test, and one of the reasons is because the volumes are pretty low. The event that it will test the 1500 level for the third time and able to break out, and that would be the more significant branch of why the market can go up. So this is what we are looking for. Foreign funds are slightly buying right now in here. This is from the VSA 360 in here. The railway track is still up, so there is still a little bit of room to push up. Of course, most people will only want to jump in when the market is hot, but usually, in my opinion, for this coming January, that is likelihood where the market turn. So you have to be careful, especially those of you listening in the beginner. Stick to those dividend stocks that we talk about. Even if you don't, cut loss, whatever the case, you can still collect some dividend going ahead here. All right. And on the VSA plug-in using the real-time mode on the trading view, you could see the indicator is still pretty much very similar, but broken through the 200-day moving average, which is around the 1480. But this morning, again, this is where we are very, very close to the roof. And usually when you get to the roof, we get a lot of resistance, right? And also take note, the green Pentagon has been around 12 bars ago, okay? 12 bars ago. And the last really nice trend that we get was August, and we have 21 up bars. All right, so it's about another 9 bars, okay? Another 9 bars, which is equivalent to 2 weeks, okay? We still got another 2 weeks of rally, which to me does point to how much the market can extend to go, and we are not in what we call a super bullish time, right? So you notice sometimes it will turn like previously about 5 or 6 bars, and then it will turn red Pentagon. So keep this in mind. My take is that likelihood the market will break up like you see up here, right? When it breaks up and then give it 2 weeks from now, okay? So which means after 1 week after Chinese New Year, this is where the market likely to turn down in here. And this is pretty much a mathematical algorithm that you all can follow. It's not too difficult to understand too in here. The blue trend zone is still pointing upwards. The peak rally is still pointing upwards, okay? So the maximum is we're looking at 21 bars, which is peak, and start to turn red Pentagon after Chinese New Year. But who knows, the next few days, if the debt ceiling that cannot be agreed, that they're not willing to extend the debt ceiling that the US Congress, you might see a bit of sell-off, and that is going to spill over to our market in here. Now, in the hot sectors, let's look at what is really trending this morning in here, and let's switch on to a wider chart, right? And off this. So you just go down to the bottom right, you can see here, and click on the hot sectors, and you'll definitely see hot sectors. We have logistic, energy, technology, REITs, and industrial. So those are the hot sectors. But we want to look at before we go on to those sectors, but let me give you some idea how the sectors are arranged. They are sorted by Pentagon date, so which means whether it's red Pentagon or green Pentagon, the top one will always have it here. Let's take a look at logistic. You can see, right? So generally is that we want to take a look at number 1, 2, and 3, okay? Which means the number 1 in this case was logistic. Then number 2 is, I think what was number 2? Number 2 is energy. So we want to see those up and coming kind of sectors in here. So that's why sometimes it's better to look at the second and the third. And if you feel that that is the momentum coming for the technology, then that will be a better stocks to be getting in. If that tends to getting stronger for that case. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the third item, which is the technology. So you can hit on the technology here, So right now we can see the latest Pentagon will be 13th of January. We got the Vitrox, Great Tech, those turned green Pentagon, UWC, right? And right at the below, those that turned earlier on, you can see end to end. MYEG had turned green Pentagon. So click on item number 11. You can take a look at that, right? You can look at the stock chart. You can see this morning it's still up 0.5% here. So that's a nice trend up in here. So these are the stocks that generally don't people look at it. So this is how you want to be looking those stocks. Like putting your binoculars, looking for those who are. MLS is definitely one of the stocks I've gone in, right? But it has not fared very well in here. This morning is still down. Then you have Malaysian. Let's take a look here. Some of the others like 12th of January, Chrono. So you still need to look at the chart setup. For having said that, of course the sector right now is coming back, but not all of them are moving in here. This is pretty nice. You got Chrono, right? And since the green Pentagon this morning is almost unchanged, volumes is very low, only 2k of a volume here. So that's always been the case. So if you don't have a lot of volume, generally the market's going to stay sideways. We're going to look at front can. I think Penta was pretty good. Penta was in the movement in here. All right, so let's take a look at UWC this morning. Okay, UWC, and you can see UWC has turned green Pentagon last week. There's no follow through, but it's down 0.5% this morning in here. And we can also look into Vitrox. Okay, so you can click on Vitrox. You can look at stock chart, stock comment. So this is the one. Oh, also down 1.1%. So last Friday they were green Pentagon in here, which is in line with what we also see in the US Dow Jones. Nasdaq is picking up, but this morning a little bit of profit taking in here. So what you want to do is also look into those that has very good ratings. I think Uchitech was definitely one of them, but I think Uchitech since then has undergone profit taking. So this is how you want to be scanning of those. But if not, you can always go straight to the Robie FA list, which is what we're going to be talking about right now. So on the Robie FA list, those of you who came and attend the talk that I did, or at least watch it on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We talk about 9th of January. Now on the 9th of January in here, just a snapshot, what I've talked about was PA Resources, which is rated 6 out of 8, and SOP. And this is how later I'm going to show you what's happening on the Robie FA list. And generally, this is what we want our members, especially the beginners, to target on these kind of stocks, to take a look at them. So let's take a look at PA Resources. And also don't forget to subscribe to our daily newsletter in here. Just go to the website or use the QR code on the left to get our daily newsletter, which have all the Robie FA stock list that we picked up. Now on the 9th of January, which is last Monday, you have seen the stock that we talked about, PA Resources, spotted at 30 cents 9th of January, and did pretty well, went up, and this morning still up 34.5, which is up 15%, which is very good for a 10k trade. Able to pick up 1,500, more than enough to pay your 1-year subscription of your SmartRobie, isn't it, right? If you follow that. And this one, we can also take a look at this morning. What kind of dividend do they pay? PA, okay, Resources, yep, that's the one. Okay, hit PA Resources in here, and stock chart, stock comment. So you want to take a look at yep, that one is still, yeah, it's still going up higher, same as what we have. And let's look at the stock fundamentals. And this one is paying 1.5%. Okay, 1.5%. It's very hot right now. So this is in the industrial. All right, industrial in here. Interlink Matrix, Lau Quan Kam. Wow, floating share 90%. So that's pretty good. So this one not so easy manipulate. But I think this one has a little bit chance of even moving higher in here. All right, that's a pretty good one, 15%. But on the second trade, sort of did not break higher, instead of stay on, is SOP. This is also in line with the crude oil prices that did not go higher, as such that the market hit a ceiling at 269, which is a resistance spotted at 267 in here, but since then holding back 263, and usually the case, and also turn red pentagon. So if you are a trader using the Robie FLAs to trade, maybe this is the one you'll be out. But if you're longer term, let's take a look at the fundamentals, looking at SOP, put it in, right? You can see, click on the SOP, and we look at the stock fundamentals. So you can see right now it pays a 2.5%, a large cap stock, 2.3 billion in here, rated 5 out of 8, PE of only 4 times, while the sector is about 9. So this is definitely one of those stocks. But we have to also be very careful. Generally, anything that's PE below 4 times, it could be a trap, all right? Because all things being equal, the sector is doing at 9% in here, and the ROE is actually 20% in here. What are the biggest shareholders that's updated last year? Xinyan Plantation, DBS Bank. Oh, they hold, but the floating shares is only 32%. So that also tell you why the stocks, it's not as liquid as what we saw for the PA. Being more liquid, then the market is able to hit higher. Okay, able to hit higher here. All right, so those are the 2 stocks that we spoke about last week. So let's take a look this week on the Robie FA list. Right, these are the fundamental stocks, and we got a whole list of them. Bursa 6139, which is Takaful, Heineken, Chinese New Year coming, so those what we call beverage, alcohol beverage tend to do well. Hong Leong, KGB, and Bumi Amada is the energy. All right, so what I've sort of picked is Takaful, which is an insurance company, and KGB being one of the hot sectors here. Let's take a look at these 2. Of course, you can also take a look at the other that you've seen in here, but these are the 2 that I generally like. And and you can see Takaful, you got a resistance here around the 350, so you have to be very careful too. And a lot of time, the third time breakout will break if the KLCI break. If the KLCI cannot break, this one also very difficult to break. All right, so let's look at the stock fundamentals for the insurance company. Pay 3.8%, PE of only 7 times, where the sector average is 13 times. That's not too bad. ROE is good, dividend is good. It's a $3 billion market cap. Lembaga Tabung Haji lah, floating share about 55% in here. Green Pentagon, good one, unchanged. Next one is KGB, which has been a very popular stock with many of the members here who's listening, something that I also have in here. Let's take a look at KGB. So let's look at the stock fundamentals. So stock fundamental for KGB is 3 out of 8, all right. PE of 20 times, sector average is 22, ROE of 21%, where the sector average is only 11%. Dividend is very small, less than 1% here. All right, less than 1%. You can see, Islamic Opportunity Fund, floating shares is 72%, so that allows the share to really move up in here. So right now the market is undergoing profit taking minus 1.3%, but next week we'll come back and take a look at it and see how well this would have done. Of course, you can also pick some of the other shares. Now, getting to the summary, the pre-Chinese New Year rally is on, and it's kind of very mild, right? If we do break the 1500 with a line change, then you can see a lot of people really hoo-ha, but we're very close to Chinese New Year, and in my opinion, very close to the top due to what I've just said. The last round that we have, our blue trend zone was 21 bars, and right now it's already 12 bars, so very close to the top. We got 2 more weeks, and likelihood we'll see a red pentagon, and then the market might just move sideways. At least some of those dividend stocks that you have picked up will ensure that you collect dividend, provide a support should the market tank, or maybe those of you who want to do can also wait for longer term for this to buy back lower or overall. All right, check out the latest pentagon in the hot sectors, and they're already here. Right, and we do hope that some of you eventually will sign up for our program for our 100-day Trade VSA onboarding orientation, just like some of our members here, and they're able to get profit, right? And that's always been our goal in here, using the intraday, the volume trader, in here to capture some of you who are trading. But those of you who are beginner right now, you want to do the dividend stocks, the FA stocks, definitely some of the things we talk about. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel in here for all things that is repeat. And if you're ready, that is our VSA 360 for the next upgrade. But here on SmartRobie, we thank you for your support in here, and do go over to a Google review and give us a review how you have enjoyed using it, or whatever's not so good, we can hope to fix it in here. All right, now we're going to be looking at a couple of stocks that you want me to look at. Feel free to pencil those in. I'm happy to look at that if you have. If I don't see any, so that's all I have. Have a good weekend. Have a good day for the remaining of the week. And Chinese New Year is here. This is don't forget to spread the good word around our Telegram chat room in here. And happy Chinese New Year to all our Chinese friends here. And thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. I'll be back maybe on Friday. Take note, there won't be any live Facebook this coming Wednesday, 9:30. We're just taking a break. We will be back maybe next week. All right. So that's all we have in here. Thank you and see you soon.